Good morning. So we're going to get started. Still have a lot of families joining, but we're just going to go over some little housekeeping rules so we can, have a good order of events for the meeting, as well as everyone knows how to communicate and share some of the ideas. We will have a question and answer period at the end. And we're also going to be taking questions and answers during the meetings if you put it also in the chat as it pertains to something that we're talking about. And at the end, you can hold some of your questions to the end if you'd like to do that as well. So in the interim, we're just asking that our families mute their microphones on your device. You can feel free to turn your webcam on or off. And again, if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat, or you can wait till the end and ask them then. But it's really good if you drop them in the chat, because a lot of our CECC staff is online and we're taking note of that as well, so we can make sure we cover everyone's questions. So again, good morning. We have, I think, most of our administrators on the call this morning. We have our director, Mrs. Johnson from the Bedford location, Ms. Charles, our director from the Cortelyou location, and we have our accounts team, Mr. Francis and Mr. Nicholas. So we just want to again say welcome and thank you for joining us this early Saturday morning. Okay, so this is a slide that I had shared with everyone before, prior to us coming back to school, saying we know that this year was going to be challenging due to the fact we are living in the midst of a pandemic. Even though we're going on 22 months of living through the COVID-19 pandemic that has affected us in many different ways, from lockdowns to boosters, vaccines, so on and so forth. There's been so many different variables and how many different ways it has touched us as a company, individually, for families. It's affected everyone in various different ways, but we are still currently living through these times. And even, I would say, in the December, early January, we were able to see again how the pandemic feels when we're being affected by positive cases of COVID-19. So that's why, when we spoke, I think it was in October, just talking about the fall and the preview and what we were doing, we said, oh, we'll circle back in January, thinking, we'll just talk about January and what's to come. And we didn't know that we would still be talking about COVID-19 and such school closures and things of that nature. But we're here by the grace of God. We're safe, we're healthy, and we're all pushing through and continuing to take care of your children. So again, we're just asking, for the support of our parents, continue to be there for us as we're there for you. We know you have to work, even though you're working remotely, doesn't mean that you don't need childcare, because we still know that it's instrumental and it's necessary for you to do what you do for your means of employment. So currently with the CECC COVID-19 protocols, and it's so funny because what we had as of January 3rd has already changed down here now in the January 20s. It keeps on consistently changing. So as you know, from the beginning, we had implemented an email, covid@mycecc.com. So that's the email that we're asking parents to utilize to report all cases, positive cases, or close contacts. Just so what we'll do is, on an individual basis, an administrator will get back to you in regards to your COVID related question, because now the circumstances are getting a little bit different. People are traveling for holidays. They're going away for 2 weeks. What do I do? What do I need to do to return back to school? So things of that nature, we're letting families know, and we're informing them on a one-to-one basis. But basically the rule is, if you're leaving the school or separating from the school from over a week, like 7 school days or so, a COVID test is required for reentry. One thing that is new information is that store purchased, the government issued, basically the at-home rapid test can now be accepted to report your COVID status. So you would still upload your results to covid@mycecc.com, but you're sending images, and on that image, you'll say, okay, this is Sophia Francis's COVID test taken on January 21st at 2 p.m. So the date, the child's name, the date, and the time. Just put it on the COVID test, take a snap of it, and then you can upload it if it's positive or negative. So now that we are utilizing at-home tests, we're hoping parents don't have to stand on long lines, for rapids and PCRs and things of that nature. Well, for PCR, you would still need to, but it's kind of died down, so the lines aren't as bad. But we're accepting rapid tests at this point because we want to know if people are actively infectious at this moment in time. Because what we have realized, and we do have a lot of families in our midst who, once they test positive for PCR, within that 30 to 90 day window, sometimes even more, they're constantly testing positive. And they've already quarantined for over 10 days, 15 days. And we realized that from last year's pandemic, we had a family that had that circumstance. And then now this year, we have a lot more families who are experiencing that. And as we learn more about COVID-19, we do realize that it can pick up previous infections if it was within the last, 30 to 90 days, they're saying sometimes more. So that's why the rapid tests are what the DOE and some of the different agencies are defaulting to now. Not that this test wasn't, because before people thought, oh, this test is ineffective because sometimes it says this is they're saying this test is telling you, I guess with the viral load, are you actively infected? So another thing, the honor code is being taken into consideration here. So with the honor code, like one, we want you to read through the instructions, make sure you're following the administering of the test to a T, because now we're all our little, we're little scientists, we're doing this, running these tests. You want to make sure, you wash your hands, as they say, make sure you're following the protocol, step 1 through 5, make sure you turn it X amount of times, make sure you squeeze it. There's so many different at-home rapid test instructions. So whatever the test that you're utilizing, make sure you're following the directions. And for the most part, we've been seeing an array of different type of tests. So we're familiar with most of them. But make sure you put, again, your child's name, the date, and the time, because we just want to make sure that the test that you're administering and the image that you're giving is a current test. So please make sure you just adhere to that. We would greatly appreciate it. As far as classroom closures, because sometimes things happen and classrooms do close, but right now at this point, we haven't had to close any classrooms. This, new go round, we've been having cases when we did have cases, because right now it's almost as if it went away, but hopefully. But what's happening is we removed particular students, or even parents called again with the honor code and said, I've been we've been exposed, and they removed themselves. So the honor code is important. In addition to, if you test positive, then we're removing those students from the classroom. Unless we have 5 or more students within a particular class showing symptoms, that would close a class, because now this class is just infected. So it would have to be a good amount of cases. So it used to be, I think before, like if you had 2 cases, they would close classrooms. That was like the first go around with the pandemic. Now they're saying it's about 5. But like I said, right now everything's been good and everyone's been at school and everyone looks good. So we're hoping that it'll continue in that manner. Even the governor was talking recently, and the governor said, this is where we want to be. This is what we hoped for, and the numbers are down. So we're just hoping it continues in that manner so that we can benefit from full day school, kids are at school, parents are at work, and we can get back to some sense of normalcy. So the vaccination for elementary school students. So this is for children who are 5 and up, kindergarten and up. It is still not required at this time. However, if your child has been vaccinated and you would like to update your child's file at our school, please email a copy of your vaccination card to covid@mycecc.com. And I would say a lot of parents have been emailing vaccination cards. You just take a picture of the card, email it up, and we're going to be adding that to the schools, to your child's file. Another thing to take into consideration, which we had talked about before, it hasn't presented itself to be a problem as yet, but our elementary school students at the Bedford location do participate in gym at the Flatbush YMCA. But Flatbush YMCA is still not fully up and not saying up, and they're still running like COVID testing, COVID vaccines, and so forth. So we're still able to use their gym because we're using it in isolation. We go down and we're just paying to utilize their gym. Right now, it still hasn't been a problem for not that all our 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, I mean, all of our staff across the board are vaccinated, but now it's the different children and families catching up to vaccination if that's what they want to do. We don't know what September will look like, but right now we're okay on that end. So gym hasn't ceased in the at the YMCA, not at this time. So what to expect this term? So we're just going to go over a couple of things that you should expect this term. And then if you have any questions, again, put in the chat, and then we're going to circle back to anything that you want further clarification on. So I know we've been sending out, just giving people a heads up that their re-enrollment period is starting pretty much from February through March. Period for returning families for academic term 2022 to 2023. So if you're in the 2-year-old program and you want to enroll in our 3-year-old program, which is on the second floor at Cortelyou, which is our private paying 3s, or at any of our 3K programs and the other programs, that's temporarily, our private 3s at Cortelyou is temporarily on hold, just because we have recently put an application to turn our second floor at Cortelyou to a 3K program. So therefore, that would be ran by the DOE. That is a proposal that's out. We would have to wait to see if it got accepted at that location, and then we would be able to offer it at all 3 locations. We won't know that information for now. So instead of starting to re-register all the 3-year-olds, the 2s turning 3, we're just saying to hold off on that. So if you're a 2-year-old now, 2.5-year-old, just hold on. But the 3K program now, our private 3s who want to go to pre-K, and our private 3s who want to go to 3K, our private 3s who want to go to pre-K, that registration will be through our pre-K for all, through the DOE. You have to wait till the DOE opens the portal. Obviously, we're going to send you notifications once we know the date. And for our private 2s who want to go to 3K, because you can still apply to our other 3K programs, and then most likely our other one will be open at Cortelyou if all goes well. Then when that goes live with the DOE, we'll let you know as well. So we're going to let you know when these application windows open. If you also want to get like an alert from the DOE, you can sign up at myschools.nyc.gov. And the K-5 program, that's going to continue as well. Give me 1 second. Probably, Ms. Shata, you could talk about the K-5 program.
Good morning, parents. Good morning, everyone. Just to continue with Ms. Sophia, the K-5. So if your child is in our current pre-K and you would like your child to go to kindergarten, we have a slight assessment, and this is not paper and pen, but just some basic questions we will be asking these children. We did have a forum on this with our pre-K for all parents, so hopefully all pre-K for all who would like to enter into our kindergarten are aware of that. And then we continue with our assessments. We have assessments in February for our students, as well as any new admission into our program. So our kindergarten now who are currently going to first grade, we do have an assessment for them. Again, it's just to see where they are. And then returning students will also receive an application packages. I want to jump back to assessments again. Assessments will also be done for our first grade through fourth grade current students. We'll be doing an assessment. That date will be sent out to you on by Monday. I'll send out some information to first through fourth grade parents. And then the teachers will give you, send out things like the study guides to kind of help your child who currently is in first grade through fourth. For the kindergarten, we'll send out a little guide too, so to give you an idea of what is expected for the children who are moving into first grade. So you'll get an idea as to what we'll be looking for them. We're not going to give you what the test will be on, but we'll just give you some suggested ideas of what we'll be focusing on. And of course, your applications, when we send them out, once your child is accepted into the program, that is for the kindergarten children accepted into the first grade program, we open the applications, and the deadline to submit your application or to have priority enrollment will be March 14th. After March 14th, we will open that now for students who are not currently CECC students. Over to Miss Sophia.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. So, yeah, I just realized I'm the one doing this and I didn't have my computer. It was getting dark. So I was like, I don't know how people work from home. I just need to be somewhere set up, ready to go. So basically, one thing that they wanted me to remind you is the kindergarten program is a private program. So if you want our kindergarten program, you will never, ever, never, ever see it on the DOE website. Once you go K to 5, it is private. Okay, it is a private program. There are fees associated with it, and it's no longer affiliated with the DOE. We only provide 3K and pre-K through the Department of Education. Everything else is private. So some other things to look forward for this new year. I know I think in the fall, we had a trip to, well, it was a virtual trip to the New York Transit Museums. And I think that was from all of our like pre-K and up, all the way up through 4th grade. So that was exciting. So they got to learn more about the New York City transit system. So we didn't actually get to go to the museum as we usually do and get to see old trolleys and old trains, but they did a really good job of bringing the museum to life and walking the kids through the museum and explaining to them how the New York City subway system came to pass. So that was for our kids who are in pre-K and up. We're going to have a few more virtual trips this year. We're going to be bringing in some animals from the Alley Pond Environmental Center. That's a summer camp trip that we used to like to go to. That's out in like the border of Queens, Long Island. And basically it's like a nature preserve. And I think it's not owned by the city, but it's an environmental center. I think it is city funded, but basically they have animals up there. They tell you how to, keep your environment clean, why the environment's important. So what they're doing with some of their virtual, well, not even virtual, but they're an on-site trip. They're going to come in and bring some of the animals from their natural habitat and what they have over there at the environmental center. So we're gonna do that with children ages 3 all the way up to our 4th grade students. And that's gonna be, that's on the calendar to happen. So you'll see it on the calendars. And also Shadowbox Theater, that is another company that in previous years, they would come in and they'll do performances for the students, put on shows in our main rooms. Now they're going to come on site again. So, last semester we did a lot of virtual. Now we're trying to do some on-site trips, still not getting in buses and taking off. But Shadowbox Theater is going to come in and do some class-to-class presentations with theater productions for the kids. So I think there's some coming up. I think maybe March, April, Miss Charles is securing that because I think Alley Pond is next month. February, but they come and they do different specific themes, guitars, drums, performers. It's pretty cool and exciting. So that's something you'll see on the calendar, another on-site trip coming for our older kids. Lastly, we have an artist in residence program that we're putting in place for our K-5 program. So we're testing it out this year. We're going to be doing that February, March, and April, and it's entitled Brooklyn Arts for the Kids. So we're going to have an artist come in. The artist is Belinda Blum. She's going to come with her staff. She's a painter, a teaching artist. She's been sharing her love for art making with children throughout the city. She's the owner of Brooklyn Arts for Kids. Basically, she's also a professor for School of the Arts, Master in Fine Arts, a very artistic woman. Our instructional director, Ms. Susan, spoke with her, and she put a program together for our K-5 students, the kindergarten at the main building, and also kindergarten through 5th grade at the other building. So for the month of February, she's going to come in and she's going to work with the student for an hour-and-a-half class, specifically on working with paints. So tempera paints and different materials that goes around painting. In the month of March, they're going to work on wood crafts, and they're going to build some structures and things of that nature. Again, another hour and a half class for each specific class. And all of these different activities that they're working on, of course, because we also have a little small classrooms, we're going to send these materials home. So as soon as they make their art and masterpiece, make sure you appreciate it, love it, and put it in the home to be on display. And then for the month of April, they're going to work with clay, and they're going to make some sculptures, and it's going to be different based on the various levels and abilities of the children, a kindergarten versus a fourth grader. So it should be exciting. But that's another thing that we're working on at Cortelyou Academy with our K-5 program. We're starting to talk about how we can restructure some of our programming just to kind of meet the students of today where they are. And even though we do have an art program, or they'll do some art here and there, we wanted to bring in trained artists to come and work with our students. And we also want to do some other things just to get other children who may be tactile learners, other students who may be visual learners. We want to make sure that we can meet the students of today who are, like I'm always talking to Ms. Johnson about, I'm like, these kids love too much screen time. We need to get them embrace the screen, but in the same breath, we have to get them exposed to other things. Just because I feel like, even with my own son, sometimes it's like me against the internet. So we want to bring in more creative arts and more people who can facilitate some of the things that we don't know, just so that we can make sure we're exposing our children to a broader breadth and depth of knowledge, just so they know, and they can experience it. So we're doing that for February, March, and April. And if it seems like something Ms. Johnson and myself and our admin team are comfortable with, we want to make sure we do that moving forward throughout the academic year. That would just be a part of our program, and we'll try to always keep our artists in residence. We also have mid-year camps coming up, and mid-year camps are for children who are 4 and up registered in a pre-K program through 5th grade. February camp is coming up. That's February 22nd to 25th. That's when usually there's a school break. April, that's when there's a school break, April 18th, so April 22nd. So those are associated with different fees. So if you're interested in that, there's flyers that are going to go home about it. It's also going to be on the calendar for the month of February. Sign up and we'll provide coverage for that week if you're looking for it. If not, it's a vacation week and people can go on vacation. But please remember that our Cortelyou main building, it's private 2s and 3s, and they're still there for that week in February. So you're not on vacation. It's only the other buildings, Marlborough and Bedford. But if we do offer the camp, well, we are going to offer the camp. It is going to be housed out of the Marlborough location. And that's where the coverage will be for even if you're a Bedford student or Marlborough student. Camps are always housed out of the Marlborough building, and those are the dates. And then summer camp, which is right around the corner, those applications usually come out in early March, and this year will run for 8 weeks, and it's July 5th all the way through August 26th. July 5th through August 26th. Our camp size this year is going to be reduced. We're not going to open all 3 of our buildings. We're only going to open 2, and the class sizes are also going to be limited as well. So if camp is something that you want to make sure that when these applications come out, communicate with your director, fill it out, get it in. Academic, this camp is going to have an academic enrichment focus and creative arts. We're going to have on-site trips and amusement park chaperone trips. So when we go to Sesame Place, Thorny Park, wherever we're going this year on those coach buses, they would have to be chaperoned by their parents for those trips. The rest of our trips are going to be on site, and applications again will be made available in early March. We just wanted to give you like a little blurb about what camp is going to be offering this year, because prior to the pandemic, we had swimming at the Bedford YMCA. We had a whole bunch of different things that we offered. We used to do also sports camp. Some of these things we're not doing because we definitely can't get back into Bedford YMCA because they're fully operating. And if we're going into a gym, everyone needs to be vaccinated. Everyone is not vaccinated, especially as far as children. So we don't want to sell a program that we're not going to be able to facilitate. In addition to when the YMCA itself is operating that program, or other, of our competitors have swimming pools on their facilities. So if you know swimming and certain things are what you want, we understand. You'll take a hiatus from us in the summer, and hopefully we'll see you back in the fall for our academic program. But we do have other families who visit with us in the summer who just come for summer because they want the enrichment and they want the academic stuff that we offer, in addition to the creative arts. And again, we're going to use some of the artists and the stuff that we now have in our wheelhouse to provide these different services for them. So we're focusing on still, being within the community, going as far as maybe, to Prospect Park on walks and things of that nature, but still this year going on yellow buses and going out to the different places or throughout the city. That's not going to happen. And usually when we had older kids, and we usually did about 12 to 15, I think this year we're going up only to like 12 and a half. We would allow kids to take the train. We'll take like the 15-year-olds and we'll go to the city to see a show or whatever the case may be. We're not even doing that right now. As we know, sometimes the trains are not safe. So we just want to let you know, as far as the limitations and especially the expectations, we still are going to have a great program, and we're going to do some things that are really exciting and beneficial to all little elementary school and early budding middle school students. But we just want to let you know from now. So if you need to look, you can start looking around, but we're going to be here with a reduced seat capacity. So also don't wait till the last minute, because we may not have seats left. So as soon as they become available in March, if the cozy small environment is what you want to do, please register and secure your seats. Some other things to look forward to are our final Parent Teachers Conference, which will be on March 17th. And also on that day, it'll be an early dismissal at noon. And then you'll have that last Zoom conversation with your teacher about how your child is doing. But again, for the students in extended day or, elementary school programs and the 2s and 3s, you'll get another report card in June at the end of the year. But this is your final Zoom Parent Teacher Conference. And then on March 23rd to 24th, that is the formal picture day with school uniforms that should be worn. Hopefully, we haven't spoken to the picture company as yet in regards to class pictures, because we haven't been able to do that. I want to say this last year or the last 2 years. So we just want to double check if we'll be able to go back into getting that, class picture, so you can see, when I was 3, I was with these people. When I was 4, first grade, so on and so forth. So we'll let you know, but it's definitely school uniforms on that picture day. And then you'll know which date is your specific building. Last, and then I'm going to let the accounts team tell you a little bit more about some other things coming up, and then we'll take all of your questions and circle back to questions in the chat. We still tentatively have a date on the calendar for Family Fun Day, which is June 3rd, 2022, if it happens. That's when we usually close down all schools and we all head out to a park. We usually go to a park in Queens. We've gone to a park in Brooklyn, Long Island. We go wherever. So we're still thinking about that. We're going to see about the organization of that trip, if it can still happen, if we can get the buses. Parents usually drive if they can drive, but it's a day of teachers, family, kids, friends. It's just a fun day, and we have a barbecue and we have games, and we just need to see how that's going to work. But we're going to try and make it work. So we're going to keep you posted. So tentatively still hold June 3rd as Family Fun Day in the park. So we'll let you know as more of that information unfolds, and if they're, increasing the capacity of park permits at this time. Thank you. So Mr. Nicholas and Mr. Francis, let me just turn it over.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. So as you see currently on the slide, we do have these brand new t-shirts, what we are calling our Cortelyou Pride shirts. They're a little different than the green shirts you've seen in the past. The green shirts we've been providing were sold primarily for the summer camp program. So we use that in conjunction with our Spirit Day, but now these shirts are going to be known as our Spirit shirts from here on forth. And we're also setting something else up on the website to try to make it a little easier. It's not completely done yet, still a work in progress. But in the meantime, if you wanted to get some shirts, just send us an email at accounts@mycecc.com. The prices you see are here, and we got both short and long sleeve. I know a lot of parents have been asking for that too. But the short sleeves, we got youth are 15, and the adult sizes for primarily our elementary school students are 20 for the short sleeve. This is per shirt. The long sleeves are just $2 more for each, so 17 for youth and 22 for adult. Let's see. And you can also, if you wanted to, you could leave a payment in an envelope with your name and a note in one of the drop boxes at the various sites. And we also have a slide just talking about that. So we can move on to the next one.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so now we also got our patches. So something else that we've been noticing, a lot of the students, we see a lot of the students coming in uniform, which is great. And that's something that we always try to get parents to do throughout the school year, throughout the days that, they wear uniforms. But something else that we've seen, a lot of them don't have patches. A lot of them don't have that patch on their uniform, and they're pretty much, you wouldn't really know which school they attend. And we actually had one of our events at the public library that opened up back at the Cortelyou Road location, and it was on the news, but they were wearing their uniforms without a patch. So, it'll make it easier for people around the area just to, they'll see the students of our school. So if you don't have a patch yet, do the same thing. Send us an email, request a patch. You can request it from the Bedford office or the Cortelyou Road office. The prices are there. It's $1 for $3 for one patch or $5 for two. Same thing, you can leave a payment within the Dropbox. And we have a picture on the next slide coming up. Just to, in case anybody doesn't know what the Dropbox looks like, we can go to the next slide. Like this. It's at each of our sites. The Marlboro site may be a little hidden, but the Cortelyou building, it's right there, right in the lobby. The Bedford building, it's right there, right in the lobby. The Marlboro building, it's a little tricky. It's right around the corner behind the second set of doors. So if you need to drop a payment off, just leave it in there. Okay. Then we could go to the next slide. And Mr. Francis, I don't know if you wanted to jump in a little bit, just talking about our fundraising, just a little update. We had sent a last email to all of our families, just saying what we've been up to, how we've been using the funds throughout the various activities that we have been doing throughout the school year. One of them, as the elementary school families had seen, we got new laptops, new Chromebooks, and new tablets, new Samsung tablets. And that's actually only half. We got another half batch coming in. And those are just one of the ways that we've been using funds. And again, this is all thanks to you, Cortelyou family. We would not have the ability to get these items without your gracious support. So we very, very much thank you, especially with our last fundraiser that just recently ended, the Double Good Popcorn. We sent out some brief results. We're going to be sending out another fundraising email as well. But again, we still got many things on the agenda. We've been saying it for a while, but those playgrounds, we're still working on them. We still have to work with a bunch of different creative agencies and professionals, especially with other beautification projects. It takes a while, but we want to make sure whatever we're doing the right thing. And we also have to be careful not to overspend, because we want to make sure that your funds are being used to the best of their manner. And another item that we're always looking at is improving that school website. So like we had mentioned before, we're working on something for the uniforms and the shirts on the website, still a work in progress. And that parent portal, it's always been there. We've been meaning to revitalize it. So that's always something that's going to be on the agenda. And there are always going to be other items to come for the fundraisers. So again, we thank everybody for all their support through our fundraisers. We may have a couple more, maybe one within the end, before the end of the school year, but we'll let everybody know. We're going to be sending out another fundraising update email within the next few weeks.
Mr. Nicholas, one question that was asked was in regards to gym uniforms. since you were just talking about clothing. Are those available? Because some kindergarten families weren't able to get particular sizes at the top of the year.
Yes, for the gym uniforms, we'll likely send an email out to families. Right now, we're just focusing on the Pride shirts. You can probably send us an email regarding the sizes, but we'll let families know the gym uniforms are in, so that's a good thing. Um, but we'll probably send out an email just to give them some more information about the uniforms, but it'll likely follow the same process as the Pride shirts request.
The question was just asked in the chat, and then I'm going to go back through the chat. Are the tablets going to be provided to students who do not have one to use at home? Ours are going to be totally different than the DOE. It's going to be their tablet that they can use while they're at school. They're not going to be able to leave the facility just because, we don't have this big, we spent the money on these, we fundraise. They're not going to be able to go back and forth just because we want to make sure that they're good. For example, I had last year when we had, what was it? When kids go to school, they had remote learning, and we were offering it for school age children, for public school students. So we had about, I would say, 10 kids who had remote learning, and we were helping them to the side at the annex building in the front room. So it was myself and Ms. Shiyama. The way these children treated these machines in the absence of a teacher, it was not good. And they started to break. And sometimes there'll be a week and they didn't have one. So the Cortelyou ones are going to be used at school. And then we're just asking that parents still have like the Google Chromebooks that we had recommended, that if you're an K to 5 that you should own. You should definitely own a Google Chromebook for your child. And I mean, and that's not everyone's child. I'm not saying everyone's child misplaces or misbehaves or breaks them, but I too have a Cortelyou student. He's in the 3rd grade, and his Google Chromebook also has a little bruise on it. And I'm like, why did that happen? So I mean, things happen. They end up going on to different websites. They get upset with the machine. And the way that I see unsupervised children, and even sometimes when they're supervised, you don't even see it happen so quick. So the ones that we're going to have are going to be at school, so that you can have your laptop or Chromebook or whatever at home for them for at-home use.
And I just wanted to see if I could quickly address a question. Sophia, could you go back 2 slides? I saw a question about where the patch goes on the uniform. The picture that's shown on, the picture that's shown, go back, the picture that's shown here for the patches is that is a girl's uniform, but the boy's uniform is slightly similar. It goes on the sweater. It doesn't go on the shirt. It goes in a similar place. So that'll give you an idea of where it's placed.
Okay.
Sophia also addressed a question from Maggie's mom about the 3s who are turning 4. Do they stay in the regular daycare, or do they move, or do summer camp is available for them?
All the children who are at the main building stay at the main building doing regular programming. So they'll have some of that stuff included, but because you remember the top floor usually runs a summer camp programming. So that we'll let you know when the March program comes, if we're going to do a 3.5, 4-year-old program there. But the other summer camp programming is at the other building. And that's only for kids in pre-K. So they're like 4.5, turning 5. So they have a different upstairs type of summer programming, but we'll let them know more information about that when the paperwork comes out and you sign up for it. And another thing that I wanted to tell parents, because some people are just like, why are the numbers different, and why are you, reducing the size of the summer camp program? Not that we don't want to provide services, but as you know, worldwide, there's been issues with staffing, in addition to like a lack of a workforce. So we don't want to overshoot and like open all 3 buildings, and we don't have enough students to fill it, and we don't have enough staff to supervise children. So we want to make sure that we're just taking care of what we know we can manage, the services we know we can offer, because whatever we say we're going to do, we're going to be able to do. And just a fun fact, next year is going to be our 40th year anniversary of Cortelyou Early Childhood Center. So, we got plans for that as well. Hopefully we'll be definitely out of the pandemic, and we can really celebrate with our families and previous alumni and so forth. So this is just a rough time for a lot of small businesses, schools, everything in general. And we're just trying to ensure that we can provide good service, and whatever we say that we're going to be able to do, we want to make sure that we can execute on that, because we know you have to go to work and you have other commitments, and we want to make sure that, you know, we're your partner in childcare. Were there any other questions previously that we didn't address? I just want to, before.
I know I saw a quick question at the top towards the beginning of the presentation. There was a question about the Flatbush YMCA. If they imposed a vaccination requirement for everybody that goes in the building, would our school impose it for elementary school students?
So in regards to that, so if the Flatbush YMCA becomes fully operational again, and it's a full gym, and just like the Bedford YMCA and most gyms across the city, you cannot go into a gym, then your child just would not be able to go into the gym. So right now, as far as the elementary school, we don't know what the next steps are going to be as far as New York City and New York State and what's going to be required of children. We are still an official non-public school, so there are still stipulations that we have to adhere to, just being a licensed school with New York State. So whatever New York State says we have to do and enforce, that's what we'll have to enforce. But right now at this time, they haven't required it for anyone in the New York City public school systems, and they haven't reached out to, they use us, call us like non-public schools, you know, religious and independent schools. They haven't given us something that we need to adhere to at this time. So we're still not like where California is. Like California says, like, you know, kids come September, they need to be vaccinated. We're not there yet, but trust me, before we get there, we would hear it on the news, and we would hear a lot of, you know, legislation and conversation about it. But New York is just not where California is right now. So we're just waiting to see what the next steps are in this pandemic. Okay, so are there any other questions? If there's any specific questions that you have and you want to verbally ask it, you can unmute yourself at this time and ask the question, and we'll try to answer that question for you as well.
Good morning, everyone. In terms of the quality of the jerseys, would it be just one kind, or are there more? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think he was referring to the t-shirts. So in general, and I don't know if Mr. Francis wants to jump into, but the t-shirts, I would say for the Pride shirts that we just showed, it's likely similar to the camp shirts that we've had in the past. If not, they may be a little thicker. They have a bit more cotton, but it's going to be somewhere around there. It's going to be pretty similar.
Thanks. Just one last input to that. Going forward, is it possible to consider more than one kind? That's where we can get more contributions coming forward. Thank you.
Okay. I know Mr. Francis, I think he's also been looking at the different quality and kinds of shirts. A key thing that we just try to maintain whenever we come out with these shirts like this. Obviously, quality is going to be one of the most important things, but also that comes with cost. So we could get the best quality t-shirts, but we can't be charging families $30, $40 for t-shirts. We're trying to keep the cost down. So we're constantly trying to maintain those items together while still maintaining a good quality t-shirt for our parents. So we always look at it. I know Mr. Francis has always been looking at trying to get better quality shirts, which we would say these new Pride shirts are a little better than what we've had in the past. So we're getting there, but we always look at that whenever we come out with merchandise such as this.
Well, I do understand what Mr. Benjamin is talking about in regards to the quality shirts. And I know I'm an alumni of, you know, a lot of different schools. And when I go to like my daughter's school now, I spend like $60 on sweatshirts, Sherpas, hats for grandpa, mommy in the school's name. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, maybe we can do like a luxury line for parents who are interested, or maybe it could be like order to whatever. But usually, you know, when you go to your alumni or different places, I know I like to get a lot of merch. because you like to represent your school. So if people are interested in certain things, maybe we can just have like, I think even at one school she went to, they was like, we do it every December. You can order specifically, and then we order specifically to what you want. And then you could get those $40 and $50, $60 sweaters. I got Under Armour pants that say Cornell. Or I mean, I go all out on merch when I'm on campus or even in the city at the Cornell Hospital. So if people want to spend money on, their school alumni type of thing, we can probably have a luxury line that we do once a year, and it can be ordered to suit. So you can get the Under Armour or the Nike shirt that says Cortelyou. So we'll think about it, and we'll see how we can make that happen.
Okay, just for 1 second. How you doing? Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to add. I saw a quick question there. In regards, are we going to have any other types of shirt? And I heard a little bit about the quality of shirt. To be honest with you, the quality of shirts that we have is probably one of the best. The company that has been working with us, we've been in business for them for about 15 years. If you notice the summer camp shirts, you have kids still wearing summer camp shirts, um, 8 years, 8 years ago, and they still look pretty good. So the quality are good. But if you're trying to get to that next level quality, I don't think, for us as Cortelyou, we're trying to grow in a way where parents, staff, and the community embrace what we're doing. So we're taking baby steps in those directions. For example, I don't know, Sophie was talking about the Cornell shirts. Those are $60. I don't think anyone of the parents is going to pay $60 for a hoodie sweatshirt. Just for example, let me show you this one right here. I don't know how much she paid for it, but it's about $60. And my thing is that it's a nice shirt, but the quality that I've seen in others are even greater. So it's going to take us time to get where we need to get. So we're going to have to kind of walk a little bit before we start running in certain era, because we want to make sure we do give give you a good experience with the school spirit, with the effervescence from the kids, everyone happy, that type of spirit. So we know another 40 years from now, which some of us won't be here, but that legacy will continue. And it's only going to continue through items like the t-shirts, buying different things to making sure that the outgoing experience of the school. So bear with us a little bit. We're getting there, and I can promise you, I'm working 110% on the in the back end trying to make things work. And if you have any ideas, please share it with us. You can email me at accounts department and share your ideas with us, because sometimes we're in a box and we only think about what we can think about, but the ideas is really out there from our parents to communicate with us. So please do. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm one of the parents. I have my son in the third grade. I'm just curious to know more about the STEM program and if it's going to be branched out a little bit more in detail for students at CECC.
So I'll let Ms. Johnson talk a little bit about that. But one thing that we used to have prior to this whole COVID interruption is we had a full-time computer teacher, and they used to do a lot of they do a little bit of keyboarding now, but that can be done from the teacher level. But we had computer programming classes, and we had Mr. Steven, and they did Python or different languages. And it was really good because the kids liked it, and they were able to make like little programs that can make, the horse jump or the horse jump and then spin or whatever it is that they wanted to do with the characters that they chose. So we were trying to get back to that this year. And I mean, I think we still have an ad out for that particular job, but all of the people that Mr. Francis and I think Mr. Nicholas were interviewing, everybody wants to work from home, and they thought the age range of children were older, and we were looking for somebody even to come in part-time 2 days a week, and we weren't able to find, able to fill that need. this year. So we only just did like keyboarding and making sure that they're familiar with the keys. But we're working hard at that. But it's just very hard to find. I mean, the teachers are doing, math and things of that nature. We have a couple projects that are coming up that's going to be a little bit more STEM related. That's going to, opposed to like, it's a combination of the science fair. But other than that, it's really been hard to get what we're looking for, just with the workforce that's available. So, I mean, if anyone does know anybody, like I think we have that job posted on Indeed, but you can reach out to the accounts department directly. If you know somebody who's willing to work with, a whole bunch of, great, excited elementary school students. And that's even in a part-time capacity. We just need somebody to come in and do those particular classes 2 full days a week or so on and so forth. But our teachers are, doing what they do. And Ms. Johnson could speak a little bit more to that.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, you spoke a lot about it, but just to reiterate to what Ms. Sophia said, 2 years back, we had a fantastic STEM program. However, COVID hit us, and so here we are. And so we're still looking. We do want to make sure that our students are well-rounded when they leave us. And so although we focus on math, we still want our ELA, we still want to focus on those science, technology, engineering, and math for our students so that they can become competitive in the global, the global world. But we're still looking. And if you, as you said, Ms. Sophia said, if you know of any person who would like to work with our students, we will welcome that person to come and do it. It is very, very hard. We're looking for teachers for different programs, but it's very challenging. If you know of anyone, I was speaking to a parent the other day, and we were talking, and I said, well, if you know of any person who would like to do these things, please let us know. Send in the resume. I gave her some ideas of how she can submit that resume. And so we can be able to be on the ball. But we're looking for September. I know for sure it would not start this year. I can tell you that. It wouldn't start this academic year, but perhaps for September 2022, we would love to see these programs moving forward.
So, like I had spoke about just a little bit before, was we're trying to reimagine how we structure our elementary program in a sense that we're meeting the students where they are, because we do realize they are, I'm just going to say the word, addicted. They're really getting a lot of screen time, and they're, some parents, just like it's a fight between the phone and the computer. And again, like I said, parents are not in this boat alone. I sometimes struggle with it. I have to consciously listen, we're leaving the house. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. Because sometimes we all can fall into a little lull. We're not supposed to go outside, be all over the place sometimes because you can catch COVID. So, we're streaming different programs and things. So we're really trying to figure out how to meet them with that. I was even talking to Ms. Johnson and Ms. Brown the other day about when we do math problems, maybe you could say, 9 Minecraft people did this and Roblox, and use the character names. I'm like, we just need to meet them where they are, because there's only certain things now with this particular generations, with the TikTok and the social media, things that you got to be so careful with. And that's why, I really, I'm telling parents, don't give them phones if you don't have to, like a personal phone. I know they throw family, but if you get one more phone, I feel like it's not even a good thing. They're at the school. If you need to speak to them, if you need to speak to us, just reach out. But I feel like it's opening the window to Pandora's box, in addition to, some of this stuff now with Facebook and it being meta and the metaverse, and we're all going to be avatars. And so we're trying to restructure what we're doing to kind of meet them halfway. But education right now, just across the board, and we're private, and I see even in our after school program, because we only have one operating right now at the Marlboro building, and the homework that comes home, it's nothing. And the writing, it's atrocious. And I'm like, who are these? And they're like, my teacher doesn't check it. There's one little boy, though, he's doing excellent, but he used to go to Cortelyou, and he's in a gifted and talented program. And those are some of the programs that the city is, doing away with as well. But some of the local schools, I'm telling you, the kids don't know multiplications, the kids can't do particular things, and I don't know, and the parents are just like, it's not my fault, I try, but I don't understand this new math. Why are they teaching math this way, you know? So we're working on some things, and you know, one of our first steps in that direction is the artist in residence, because I do want them to be more creative and, you know, use their hands to do other things. And we're swinging back over to the STEM. So if somebody can find us a STEM person, that would be great as well, and just reach out to us. We're willing to hear and willing to talk to them.
Yeah, and we're just about to hit the top of the hour. I just wanted to quickly address some of the questions I've seen in the chat recently. I know one was asking a little bit for more details about the playground and the fundraisers. We can add more details on that within the next fundraising update email we send out in the next few weeks. And also some of the other items, like we had briefly mentioned, the beautification projects. We're looking into murals. If any parents have any referrals that they want to make to us, any local artists that they would like to send us to the school, you could send their information to accounts@mycecc.com. We can talk with them, see if we could set something up with them as well. And some other questions I saw about the gym uniforms, the zippers and the pants. If you have any comments or suggestions or any issues that you may have, just send us an email at accounts@mycecc.com, and we'll try to communicate these to the manufacturer to see if there's something else that we could change for the next batch. We would greatly appreciate any feedback.
Are there any other families who have questions? Again, we always can facilitate questions at info@mycecc.com. We don't want to take up your whole Saturday morning, but we just wanted to make ourselves available to answer any questions. If there's no more
Hi,
questions, we just,
sorry. Oh, sorry. I
okay,
just
great.
wanted to say a quick comment. I know these are such unprecedented times, and I just want to just thank you guys for everything you do. We're all in the same boat together. And I appreciate even, the time, carving out the time to talk to us parents and just answering all our questions and putting us at ease. It's not an easy job what you do, and I'm just so thankful to have you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, we're definitely trying. We are trying. So, oh, there was one more question that was dropped in here. What about any financial literacy programs for the older students? Any plans of considering it? We do that. We do that in the summer, and we'll do that again. We have, people come in and start talking, what is
We
it,
did it
stocks
last
with the
summer.
children.
Yeah,
We did it last
yeah,
summer,
somebody came
and
in.
and then they were all able to get like $10 to start a little, forgot what the program was called, but a little stock account. And, even us right now, I think we bought Roblox. It went up to 100 and something, because I was telling my son to buy what, he wants me to buy Robux. I'm like, how about you buy Roblox stock? We bought some. It went up to like 100 and something a share. This morning I glimpsed it. It's at like 68. I'm like, man, we need so much money. But that's the whole thing with the stock market. It goes up, it goes down. But this is a bad week for it. But yeah, we explained that to the kids. So we bought some different families participated in that. That was our older kids. But we're going to think about bringing that over more to the elementary, because it's important for them to know. Because even explaining to an 8-year-old, and even, my daughter, he bought Roblox, she bought Nike. Nike's still going strong. But every time we go into these stores and we buy these $100 sneakers and things of that nature, I'm just like, do you know who's making money off of this? She's like, but they look so good, right? I'm like, listen, let me explain to you how money works and what side of this you need to be on. So we're trying to explain to them, but I definitely try, even as a parent, if we go into the supermarket and those Lunchable things that people like to buy, I don't buy that all the time, but I don't really buy it. But sometimes, my son's like, oh, it's on sale. It's 10 for 10. I'm like, what does that mean? What does 10 for 10 mean? Oh, they're on sale. They're going to be $1. Or if something says it's like 50% off and I'm in the store and she wants it, and I'm like, well, figure it out. How much is that going to be? Or it's 10% off. Figure out if you can't figure it out by the time we hit the register, it's going back on the shelf. So you have to challenge them too. It's not just us as parents. I mean, as teachers, as parents, you have to, put that seed in their head as well. Like, if you can't do this and you got to work to this, everything is math and numbers out there, as well as spelling and, the little ones identifying letters and words and things of that nature. but just work with them because, you know, you're their first teachers and you're going to be their consistent lifelong, you know, teachers and helping them learn and negotiate and navigate through life. So definitely we're trying to do some different things. Like we're trying to spin it around just a bit to be accommodating of this internet and the not really social media, but the internet and the different games and things they like. How can we incorporate it in a way that, you know, we can just get them more into these things? Because I'm telling you, the kids are really caught up on the screen time, and we're trying to work with that. And kids who don't usually wear glasses are all wearing glasses. Mom doesn't wear glasses, dad doesn't wear glasses, but the kids have these goggle glasses attached to them. So we have to be careful, parents. So that's my spiel. I know I talk too much about internet and children, but it's really scary out there for me. You have to be so careful. But thank you so much for joining us this Saturday morning. We appreciate you, and we're glad that you appreciate us, and we'll see you all on Monday.